Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of the Red Method. I apologize for the lighting. I'm in a new space today. But I just wanted to go over a couple of things that to get us started in the teaching process. So, last week's episode was about classroom environment and setting up intentional spacing for students to learn, as well as making the space beautiful. Green is a good color. And so, okay, my name is Whitney Red. This week's Red method is going to be focused on 7 strategies for student success through systems and structure. A lot of students, teachers, classroom management is always going to be one of their biggest things. And so we always want to make sure that we're giving people the tools, or teachers, new teachers, the tools to be successful in their classroom. And then after we talk about the 7 strategies for classroom structure and success, we're going to go ahead and talk about some social emotional learning and rapport building. Again, this is episode 2 of the Red Method. My name is Whitney Red. I'm a 3rd grade educator here in Oakland, California. And I just want to give some strategies to educators so that they can be successful with our students. Okay, so the number one strategy out of the 7 strategies is line order and job rotations. And so I have a system, it's called the CARE system, Community, Agency, Respect, and Engagement. And part of that community building is making sure that kids are responsible for their classrooms and for what, taking care of it, keeping it clean, working together to make sure that our space is clean and stuff like that. So we have job rotations weekly. We have cool jobs such as uh, plants, we have animals, we often have caterpillars, so pets will be some. We wipe the desk, we sweep, we have librarian, and then my students really love messenger and the phone, so they get to answer the phone, and we have a whole protocol. So, hi, this is Whitney's class, how can I help you? And so my kids get into that habit of having good phone etiquette. And one of those other positions is line orders. So what I do at the beginning of the year is that I'm very intentional about creating line orders. So I mix it up. I see who kind of like can handle being around each other in the line. And then that line order stays the same throughout the entire school year. And students have to, we just rotate weekly. So if you were the line leader, you're the caboose, and then it just goes. So everybody has an opportunity multiple times throughout the school year to be the line leader and to be the caboose. And so it's automatic, and so there's not this confusion about, oh, you are always the line leader or anything like that. And it's always the same consistent line order unless I make a change. So this is an automatic system that is in place, and it just makes it easy. I can say line order, voice level 0, and kids know their exact spot. And so this is something that's taken off of my plate as an educator and off of students' plates as learners. Okay, so line order and job rotations is the first strategy for success. Number 2, college and carpet ready. So I have been doing college ready for about 4 years. However, I just got carpet ready this year. I don't assign students on the carpet. I ask them to make wise decisions and make sure they're sitting next to, people who are not going to distract them. So that's the A in community, agency, respect, and engagement. So making sure that they're, having agency over their, like wise decision making about how they're going to learn and where they're going to learn. So I don't like assign spots, but I do ask for college and carpet ready. So students, this is carpet ready and college ready. Their hands are crossed on the desk. It's an old school kind of manner, but it helps kids because they know the expectation. Once I say carpet ready or college ready, they can do it. College ready is at their desk, carpet ready is on the carpet. Once they do that, then there is no they know that their teacher is ready to teach. So there's a lot of free time and transition times in my class. But by the time I start to do a countdown and go to carpet or college ready, students know automatically it is time to learn. So, okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, college ready. And college ready automatically incorporates voice level 0, and so we don't have any of those issues, and kids just know what the expectation is. Sorry, it's really warm today. Number 3, call and response, and then a voice level 0. So I love this call and response technique. So it used to just be class. Yes. I want to shout out to Alicia Mosley. She's a 3rd grade educator here in Oakland as well. And I went when I was a new educator. I went into her classroom and she taught me Class, yes, yes. Over the years, I have learned to incorporate it into our curriculum. So things such as like frog, ribbit, because when we're learning about frog adaptations, or when we're doing Peter Pan, we say Peter, Pan. Last year, my students during Peter Pan said fairy, wishes. So we just make sure that we're livening it up and getting them involved. They get to vote on what kind of call and response they want, but they know that once their teacher says class, yes, or frog, ribbit, they have two opportunities to stop whatever conversation they're in and then be college ready. So these are one of my favorites. You can have fun with it, whatever grade level you are. If you're talking about fossils, you can say dino, source. You can do whatever. If you're talking about flowers and plants, you can also do that. So like plant, seed, or whatever. So you can make it fun and unique to your curriculum, but it's really helpful for students because they know that they have two opportunities to start to settle down and get into learning mode, and that's with my call and response. Number 4. Okay, so in Oakland, we can look at our students' data before they come into the classroom. So once a class is assigned to me, I can go into their iReady data and see what kind of academic learning what stages they are. So number 4 is heterogeneous table groupings. So this is very intentional groupings based on their iReady data. So I might have like a kindergarten reading level, a first grade reading level, second grade, and a third grade reading level. And I'm going to pair them all up into one table group of 4, because that way everybody's, a lot of people have a lot to learn from. A lot of students can learn from one another, and some are more auditory learners, some are more literature focused. So we really want to make sure that we're mixing up the groups, that not all the kids who know how to read are at one table, and so all the kids who do not know how to read are at another table. And so that gives people students a lot of ability to show out, because I have kids who came in at a kindergarten reading level in third grade, and now they are thriving because they've been engaging verbally with the third grader who's at a higher reading level. But sometimes my kindergarten reading level students, even though they don't have the word recognition capabilities, they very much so have comprehension. So just having those mixed groups, so heterogeneous table groupings, and you can mix those up throughout the year based on whatever you want. I normally go off of my ELA data, but I also make intentional groupings off of math data as well. Number 5, equity sticks. This is a must. If I walk into a classroom and we're not using equity sticks, I feel like there are students who are going to be quiet and not engaged, and then the ones who are super invested in that process. And so we want to make sure that all of the students are learning. Everyone has to participate. So I have 3 sets of equity stick groupings all throughout my classroom. One at the whiteboard over here, one at this whiteboard, and in whatever other place that I need to at a different grouping, because it's so important that students are all required to participate. And in my class, trying is the goal. And so especially at the beginning of the school year, when people are shy, they haven't built so much community, it's okay. I'm like, okay, you tried, or I'll give you some more time to think. But as we start to get into the second trimester and the third trimester, it is very important that all students are doing the learning and that they're participating in discussions and at least trying to have a conversation. Along with equity sticks, because everybody has to participate, we don't use terms like easy in my class. We don't say easy. We say, oh, you gave it a good try, or does anybody want to build on that, or does anybody want to help that student out? So we're very much community oriented, and we also want to make sure that kids feel comfortable making mistakes, because mistakes is how we learn. And so they shouldn't feel shy or embarrassed about having the wrong answer. They should feel comfortable paying attention to, as long as they're paying attention and are attempting to participate, that should be praised. And we do that through use of equity sticks, and we do a lot of praise and clapping. So in my class. So number 5 is equity sticks. Number 6, transition and snack breaks. So I don't know about you guys, but like imagine going outside and running your little heart off and then having to come right back into class and having to sit down and learn immediately. So I give my kids about a 5-minute transition of time from anything that we're doing. So and I take brain breaks in between like longer lessons. We have like an hour and 20-minute block before lunch. And so I definitely split that up. Kids should not be learning or sitting without physical anything for more than like 30 minutes. And so you want to break that up. You can teach and have a discussion, but you can see that they'll start to slip away. So what's really important is that you are giving transitions and breaks in between time. They don't have to be super long. So my snack time is right after recess. They've already had recess, but I need them to transition back into calming down. They get to snack, they get to socialize with their peers. And then that means that when I gave you this extra 10 minutes, that when it's time to learn, it's time to learn, right? So you should have went to the bathroom and got water or whatever else you needed to do, eaten. And then when it's time to learn, we are focused. And so snack and transition periods are super effective because you don't have to do too much corralling. Like you don't have to get too much, have to have them, being like, oh, I'm still hyped up from outside. They get to calm down and cool off, and then it's time to learn. So I think that's a very important aspect of student success in my classrooms. And then number 7 is bathroom and water breaks. So a lot of times I'm in the middle of teaching. And so especially if it's after recess, they should have used the bathroom during recess, during snack. But say it's 30 or 40 minutes into the lesson and I'm still in the middle of engagement. So I need to be able to see that students are not that they're not interrupting the lesson. So, and I know everybody sees this, but it's very quiet so that I can continue. So this is for bathroom and this is for water. And if they need the peace corner, which we have, and I showed you guys in my last video, they can do all of those things because that is important so that I'm not interrupted just for some basic needs or rotations. I shouldn't have to be like, Ms. Whitney, can I go to the bathroom? Or I think of students, I'm calling on them so that they can engage in our academic learning and instead they just need to go to the bathroom. So simple, don't interrupt, and then go ahead and handle your business and come back to class ready to learn. So that's the RED method, 7 strategies. 7 strategies for student success through systems and structure. Again, number 1 is line order, job rotations. We are a community, so everybody contributes to the classroom, and the rotation is automatic so that every kid has a chance to be in a position of power, like as in line leader, be the messenger, be the phone person. Number 2, college and carpet ready. When I say college ready twice, and we're time to get ready, this is college ready, this is carpet ready, and we know that that's automatically a voice level 0. Number 3, call and response. Class, yes, yes. Class, yes, yes. Okay, and then that's voice level 0. So students know it's time to learn, especially if we just came back from a transition period. Number 4, heterogeneous table groupings. This is helpful in all aspects. So if you are only one person, you are an educator who is only one person. So making sure that other students can rely on other students who may have different capabilities and understanding. And so mixing those groups up and so that everyone can help one another. Again, we are a community, and kids, just again, engagement, but engagement in a community manner because there is only one educator at the time in the classroom. Number 5, equity sticks. Everybody has to participate. Everybody is responsible for the learning. So just making sure you have equity sticks. I have groups across my classroom, 3 bins with little sticks, and they have every student's name on it at the beginning of the school year. And I pull them and they know. So nobody's drifting off. Nobody's dreaming out in the universe. They all are knowing that Miss Whitney can pull your equity stick at any time. And so you should be participating, paying attention, and in the learning process. Number 6, transitions and snack breaks. Kids need time to transition back from playing from another activity. So just giving them breaks is brain breaks. On YouTube they have brain break videos, which are super helpful. We do like a little leprechaun run or Sonic run or whatever, Peter Pan run, whatever we do, and just so they can incorporate some play. But then again, when it's time to get back to learning, it's time. So just making sure, and these aren't long, 5 to 10 minutes max, no 15 extra, maybe when state testing, but these are not super long breaks. They're just to get their bodies moving and to get them up and then getting them ready to be back focused. These are children, yeah? So they should not it's not college lecture style. They should be engaged in some activity and some fun. And again, finally, number 7 is bathroom and water breaks so that they're not interrupting my lessons. They're just doing this silently, and then they know to move, to go and come directly back, right? Awesome. Okay, thank you so much. That was just 7 strategies for student success through systems and structures. If you guys have any other ideas on student success and structures in your classrooms, please put them in the comments below so that I can incorporate them and try to utilize them. I love new techniques and I use them all the time. So anytime I find something new and fun and interesting and engaging, I will definitely do that with my students. And so then I just want to go. So, yes, classroom management is very important, but the key to classroom management is rapport building, period. Students are humans. They're humans, they're little humans. And so sometimes they come into your classroom and they do not have the skills. So, how do we build up the skills? So, I want to talk about the 5 competencies from social emotional learning competencies, and I'm going to focus on one of them today. So, there are 5 competencies for social emotional learning. There's self awareness, self management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision making. And so, I love to start my school year off with students working on each social emotional learning standard uh, the first week or two. So we look at the standard and we break it down like an ELD language. So I just want to show you guys something. So we're going to work on relationship skills today. Sorry about the sun. So today it says social emotional learning and rapport building. So relationship skills is one of the building blocks in CASEL, which is the social emotional learning curriculum. So relationship says, I have the ability to establish and maintain healthy and supportive relationships and to effectively navigate settings with diverse individuals and groups. Okay, so that's loud, or that's a long uh, sentence, right? And it's a lot to, especially if these are second graders coming into third grade. Some of them are not reading at grade level. So we want to break that down. So I love to break this down. And this is what I do for an ELD lesson. I'm just going to bring the computer a little bit closer. So during an ELD lesson, what I love to do is go through and I break down it into chunks, okay? So it says, I have the ability to. So I will ask students to turn and talk to your neighbor. What does it mean to have the ability to do something? So they're going to turn and talk, and they're going to say, I have the ability means, oh, I can do something. So I'm going to write the word can. I can, right? And so we're gonna make this into student-friendly language, breaking down this very long sentence so that kids can kind of internalize it and turn it into student language. So I have the ability to establish and maintain. Okay, so what does it mean to establish? Okay, to make something happen. I can make something happen and I can keep it happening. For maintain healthy and supportive relationships. And so this is one of my favorite parts, because when we start to talk about healthy, kids love to start talking about vegetables or apples or fruits and water or exercise. And we have to also explain to them that healthy also means socially, emotionally healthy and kind to one another. So a lot of times they'll say kind, nice, and good. And we talk about relationships, and so that's connections with others. And to effectively navigate settings with diverse individuals. So I love always talking about the diverse individuals. And so we also often go down a line of, kids will say, oh, my Asian friend, or my Black friend, or my Latino friend. And so we just start to talk about different cultures, music, foods. And so we're breaking this all down, this long sentence down, and so that it makes sure that it's student-friendly language, and so that kids are very aware. So here's a little drawing. This is a new kid at the school, and he says, hey, can I jump with y'all? My name is Ignacio, but my friends call me Nacho. And then a little girl here says, sure, join us. My name is Brittany. And then I'm Casey. Nice to meet you. So these are these are kids. We're teaching kids how to be kind to one another, how to be welcoming to one another. So in the beginning of the school year, what I do is we break down this standard together on the carpet. Then I read a book, Jamaica's Blue Marker. If anybody knows Jamaica's Blue Marker, it's about a little boy who always takes Jamaica's markers and draws all hectic on the paper. And what we end up learning later, and Jamaica can't stand him, okay? What we end up learning later is that Jamaica, that this little boy is going through something and he's gonna be moving away. So he's kind of acting out and feeling, and normally all other kids avoid him and stay away from him. He's the bad one, he's da-da-da-da. And Miss Whitney does not believe in bad children. And so I remember when I was first teaching this curriculum, through relationship skills, there was kids like, oh, I was like, well, what would you guys do before I put any of my influence or input on it? I said, what would you do? And the students were like, oh, I'm going to avoid him. I'm not going to hang out with him. Oh, he's bad. These were all student words and languages. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you for letting me know. How would you feel, And so we just started deep diving in, and I started to ask them questions about how they would feel if they had to move away from their friends and their families and their communities. And then they started to have more compassion and understanding. And again, that's what we're trying to do when we're doing community building, community agency, respect, and engagement. And so we break down Jamaica's Blue Marker. Then students, this is third grade curriculum, so students will have to write 5 sentences, the gist, who, where, want, problem, and solution. And so they're going to have to write, who is this story about? And then they're going to use their race strategy. This story is about Jamaica and a little boy. Where is this story located? This story is located in a classroom. What does this person want in the story? Jamaica wants the little boy to leave her alone and stop using her markers. What's the problem? The problem is, in fact, that this little boy is going through some emotional issues, and it would be really nice if we came together as a community to be kind to him. The solution, Jamaica actually gives him a letter and a gift saying, I hope you have a good transition to your new home. We will miss you. And she gives him her blue marker. And so reframing a lot of these feelings kids and maybe teachers are telling other kids that they're not bad, that they're bad, and we never want to do that. We want to really prop up kids and make them feel wonderful, and so we do that by relationship skill building. And then what I have students do is I give them a scenario. Okay, so you're on the playground and someone trips and falls. What do you do? And so normally kids will say, oh, I'm gonna laugh, oh my God, and da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, or we could go over there and help them up and make sure they're okay. And if they need an ice pack or anything like that, then we're gonna take care of one another because we are a community and we wanna take care of one another. And so again, coupled with classroom structure is building a quality, socially intelligent young individuals. And so while you're doing these structures and systems for respect and engagement in the academic setting, you also want to make sure that you're doing the emotional building, skill building of these kids. Every time I get a new class of second graders, I'm like, oh my God, they need me. They call my name all the time. And I'm like, woo, let's practice some agency. And so by building up these skills, self-management, self-awareness, responsible decision-making, all of these things end up taking the onus off of me. And so by the time that they're in the they're leaving third grade, they are thriving. I have to do very little. So you front load with structures and rapport building at the beginning of the school year. And then by second trimester, I won't even say that, by the end of month 1, all of these systems and structures will help your whole class be successful. You'll be successful. It'll be less stress for you in the long run. And then they're starting to take care of one another. They're kind to one another. They're sharing without you having to ask. We don't do tattletelling. We sign an anti-bullying pledge. And we just take really good care of one another. So, okay. So yes, structures, rapport building, those are the ways to go. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this week's Red Method, Method Mondays. Sorry about the lighting and everything. I'm in a new location today. But please put anything in the comments below. I will be sending out another Red Method next Monday. Bye, everyone.